Welcome to another episode of Badges to Briefcases. I'm your host, attorney Brandon Gans. With us today is attorney Ian Wise, and we're here at Gans Law, coming at you live. Make sure to like and subscribe and follow us on all our socials. We're at Gans_law. The topic for today is DWILIS. That's an acronym. What does that mean?
Driving while license suspended.
DWILIS. That's a common lawyer jargon you're going to hear in the courtrooms. It basically means you were caught driving on a suspended license.
And it's a lot easier to say than the four words.
Driving while license suspended. DWILIS. Just lots of legal jargon, which is kind of why we have the podcast.
Yeah, it's like another language.
Absolutely. Plus there's Latin and there's lots of languages we've got to learn. So basically, DWILIS applies. Yes, it's suspended, but it could also be revoked. It could be canceled, disqualified, expired, whatever you want to say. There's driving while, expired license. But it essentially means that your license is either temporarily or permanently revoked or suspended. And that could be a crime, right?
Well, it is a crime if you have notice of it.
Right. Yeah. If you have no. So a lot of people don't understand that DWILIS, driving while license suspended, could be criminal or a non-criminal ticket, depending on knowledge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's up to the state to prove that you had knowledge that your license was suspended. So you were a police officer for many years.
Yes, I was.
And I assume you stopped a number of people for driving while license suspended?
More than I can count. Yeah.
Right. And as an officer, you have to kind of make the call. Does this person actually have knowledge? Because everyone's going to say, oh, I didn't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now sometimes they don't know. Actually, a lot of times they don't know. And so, here in Florida, if it's, without knowledge, that's just a ticket. Now, paying that ticket could carry consequences, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Which could lead to another revocation.
And it would also show knowledge if you were stopped again.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. And you had not fixed it. Right. So, and as a police officer, can you see that?
Absolutely. You can pull up driving records. You can pull up arrest records. The driving record also will indicate how service was made and whether the person was given notice of it.
Sure. Yeah. When they look at the driving record, which a prosecutor will look at, and a judge, it'll show on the DMV record, notice delivered on this date.
Yeah.
Now, as defense attorneys, we know just because notice was sent to you doesn't mean that you received it. Maybe you moved. And a lot of times the state says, well, they should have notified the DMV that they were moving. Maybe. But that doesn't mean they had knowledge, does it? So, and prosecutors do take these seriously.
They do, because there are serious consequences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know in some counties, you get 5 days jail for each subsequent DUI. Now, I'm sorry, for every DWILIS. We just talked about DUIs in the last podcast. But that's not required by law. But sometimes they have a policy. It's a jail policy.
But there is the law if it's your third or subsequent. My
Right.
goodness, I can't talk today. Wow.
We're both having.
Yeah, your third or subsequent DWILIS.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if it's been 50 years since your last one. If it's your third, period, 10 days minimum.
Right. It's not like there's a time period.
Yeah.
So if you have 2 prior convictions, you just went in, paid it, took the adjudication. Well, now it's your third one. Now you are looking at mandatory jail. So, and what's interesting about these, I think a lot of people really genuinely don't know that their license is suspended.
Yeah.
And you could be suspended for a variety of reasons, right?
Yeah. You could be suspended because you didn't pay a ticket. You could be suspended because someone used your car and got tolls that you didn't know about that weren't paid.
Which happens a lot.
Yeah. You could be suspended because you missed a child support payment because the bank messed up or the state depository didn't do their thing. You could be suspended because you got a ticket out of state and didn't take care of it. And then they let Florida know, and then Florida yoinked your own license.
Absolutely. Yeah. Florida has reciprocity with a lot of states. And so you can get a ticket in Georgia, New Jersey, whatever states Florida has reciprocity with. And that could affect your situation here. But I think more commonly, like you said, unpaid tickets, child support, which is through the Florida Department of Revenue, a lot of times insurance, you're suspended because you don't have insurance on your vehicle. But a lot of times you do have insurance and your insurance company has not transmitted that to the DMV. It may not be your fault. But it is something you have to deal with. And so the officer, when they stop you, may not believe that you didn't know. Oh, really? You don't know you didn't have the insurance and all that. Sometimes there's an insurance lapse where it really is not your fault and you don't even know about. But when you're stopped for it, you can get a ticket with a court date where you got to go see the judge, or you can go to jail.
Yeah. Well, another thing that we see a lot is someone will have a ticket that went unpaid and they realized their mistake. So they went to fix it and they paid everything with the DMV, but they never paid the extra fees to reinstate their license. So they thought they were good, but they weren't.
Or the late fee. Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. I was actually going to touch on that, is that you think you're doing the right thing. Oh, I'm suspended for tickets. I'm going to pay those tickets. Not so fast. It doesn't get cleared until you pay the late fee.
Yeah.
And then if the suspension has already taken effect, you also have an additional reinstatement fee on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then furthermore, by paying the ticket, what happens? You get points.
Yeah.
Well, what happens when you get too many points?
Get suspended again.
Right. So now you have another suspension. So it's just, and we say all this because people find themselves in this like vortex of uncertainty. They don't understand what's going on. It's confusing.
And expensive.
Very expensive. And they think they're doing the right thing, and it actually just compounds and it makes it worse. Where then they get stopped again. And because they have those prior tickets, they know they were suspended. Now they're going to jail and facing a prosecution for something that really started as so simple. And I've just, because we do specialize in license suspensions here, I've seen it all at this point. But like you said, those are the most common reasons. I think people really need to be aware of that. And I'll say it now, and I'm going to say it later in the podcast. I think everyone would be well served to go online. You can check your license for free.
Yeah.
You like literally go to Google, type in Florida driver's license check. It'll take you to a page, type in your driver's license or ID number, and hit submit, and it'll show you. And it'll be the most accurate thing, the same up to date that the DMV sees, that law enforcement sees, and you'll know right away if you're valid, and hopefully you are, or if you have an active suspension, or maybe you have a pending suspension. So I would encourage everyone, and I'll say it again later in the podcast, but I think everyone needs to do a DL check on themselves.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Absolutely. All right. So I think you touched on this a moment ago, why this could be so serious. If the officer finds that you have knowledge, and, for a first offense, you're looking at second degree misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Would still miss his crime.
Yeah.
And if you go in and you just plead to it, you get an adjudication. If you get adjudicated, what does that mean?
Well, then you've been convicted. It counts as a prior.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, if you apply for a job and they ask, have you ever been convicted of a crime? What do you have to say?
You have to say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we're looking for like sealing and expunging, other cases, if you're falsely accused of a serious crime down the road, but you pled guilty to a driving while license suspended 20 years ago, well, you can't have that record expunged now because you've been convicted of a crime.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Because it is a criminal conviction, if you do get something more serious 20 years later, something happens, even if you're falsely accused, you can never expunge it.
Yeah.
Because of essentially a ticket that you got that may have not even been your fault. So it's that, we laugh, but this is a serious issue.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people I think that we represent are really like good, well-intentioned people that just don't know. And you can't fault them. They haven't been to law school. Even other lawyers, even other criminal lawyers send us their suspended license issues because they're just so convoluted.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times, and you've probably heard it too, people will call us and they say, I've talked to so many other lawyers, and they say, it's impossible. You can't get your license back. So they're calling us to see if they can get a hardship license, which, can you explain what a hardship is?
Yeah. So a hardship license is recognizing that people still need to go to work and, church, to the doctor, take their kids to school, hold you responsible and not let you go take a road trip or, go to the beach for fun. But hey, you can apply to the DMV as long as you're eligible. And maybe you could talk more about that later. But say, hey, you can at least go to work because we don't want to completely ruin your life. We want to make sure you can take care of your family and the necessities of life.
Sure. And so a hardship is pretty restricted.
It's very restricted.
Right.
And it still leaves the officer's discretion if you were to get stopped.
Right.
And the officer doesn't believe you.
Absolutely. Explain that because you're a police officer too.
So I mean, if people lie in this world,
no,
I know, right?
But no one's ever lied to me before yet.
So especially today when not everyone works a 9 to 5, right? You might be working for Uber. You might have a job that requires you to go to different places for your job.
On the job driving.
Yeah. And so the officer might think, you're not going to work. What the heck? You're not wearing work clothes. There's no way you're working. I don't believe you. You're going to jail, right?
Yeah.
and we can help you win that,
Right.
right? But it's still going to cost you the arrest. It's still going to cost you finding us.
Yeah.
It's still going to cause more problems. And my understanding, and you deal with more the administrative side than I do, but if you are trying to get that hardship and you get caught for driving while license suspended, even if it's dismissed, they're going to yank that hardship away.
You're getting yanked, and you can't apply for it again.
Yeah.
And the rules changed many years ago with the DMV, and they're always changing. You got to stay on top of it. But yeah, as it stands right now, you cannot even apply for a hardship if you get caught driving while you're suspended.
Yeah.
So something really important to keep in mind. And like I was going back to what I was saying, people will call us. I talked to so many other attorneys. They said, I can't reinstate. Can you help me get a hardship? Well, I'll look at them half the time. I say, you know what? I can help you reinstate. And they say, it's not possible. And how often do we do it?
Hold on.
Which is I think why so many attorneys send to us for that specific issue, is because even when everyone tells them it's impossible, you can't get your license back, my goal is to not get a hardship. I want to get them driving again. Because like you said, if you get caught driving on a hardship license when you're not driving for business purposes,
Yeah.
and that officer subjectively feels that you've broken the law, you're going to jail, you're getting your car impounded, you've got other issues going on.
Yeah.
So we always try for a full reinstatement, not a hardship. All right. And then we talked about before the knowledge requirement. So for duelists, driving while license suspended, if you have knowledge, that makes it criminal.
Mm-hmm.
If you get 3 convictions, either for, a criminal one, a civil one, a DUI, there's not some other offenses, any 3 of those within a 5-year period is going to label you as a habitual traffic offender. So a habitual traffic offender, if you talk a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, so the state defines a habitual traffic offender. Like you said, you have to do those at least 3 within the 5-year period, and it lasts for a while.
Yeah,
I believe
full
5 years. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you're caught driving during that time, now it's a felony.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the wild thing is, it's a more serious offense. It's a third-degree felony. You're facing up to 5 years prison or probation, up to a $5,000 fine. And the wild thing is, a lot of people don't know that they're in HTO, but that's not an element of the offense. So, to go back, a duelist without knowledge is civil, not criminal. You just get a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Duelist with knowledge is criminal, but HTO, the knowledge requirement, does not exist. So even if you prove that, even though you shouldn't have to prove anything as a defendant, but even if you prove that you did not have knowledge, doesn't matter, not an element. So it is a very low standard for a much higher penalty.
Yeah.
You're exposed to 5 years prison and to be a convicted felon, and you don't even have to have the knowledge requirement. So go figure.
That's a lot of rights you can lose by driving.
Yeah, Florida traffic laws, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the officer too doesn't have much discretion, because if you're regular duelist, the officer has some discretion. He can give you a court date. He could just write you down to a civil if they're being really nice. I know that's what I used to do when
I used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you want to
People are in a hard spot. I mean, the reality is a lot of people have to drive to get to work, and they don't
Absolutely.
make enough money to make ends meet.
Absolutely.
And, if they get stopped for not having a tail light working or something,
Right.
it's like, well, am I going to fix this and pay for a ticket, or am I going to pay for food for my kids?
Sure.
And then that turns into an unpaid ticket, which turns into a suspension, and the spiral just starts.
It's a snowball rolling
And-
downhill.
It just gets more expensive and harder and harder. And I mean, as an officer, I tried. You have a job to do as an officer, and I respect that. But there's a difference between can and should.
Mhm.
And can I cite them for this? Yes. Should I? What good is it going to do? It's
Exactly.
not going to do any good.
Yeah, if they're trying to take their kids to daycare or whatever, yeah,
Yeah.
they might be suspended, may have had knowledge, but do you really have to arrest them? Especially if they have kids in the car, and then what are you going to impound? Call DCF for the kids?
Yeah.
You really want to do that to someone? I mean,
But there are officers that do.
yeah, I know, and
That's-
then
Yeah.
you want. I think
That's a different podcast.
Yeah, that's a different podcast. But I think for things like this, you really want to use your discretion. Although if you become a habitual traffic offender, there may not be much discretion.
And that's
because it's a
how you can become a habitual
Yeah.
offender.
yeah.
And the prosecutors at the end of the day are so busy that they don't have time. They see, is there knowledge or is there not? Okay, we have our case. And that's where we come in with the relationship.
That's where we come in
Yeah.
and say, if they're offering 30 days, 60 days jail on a HTO
Yeah.
case, and we say, actually, here's his valid license right here. And they're like, how did you get that? Magic. So that changes things, right?
Yeah, it does.
So then we can usually get it kicked out of felony land and get something that's going to that they're going to be happy with, get it reduced or dismissed, and that's not going to trigger a whole new 5 or HT.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that you see attorneys that don't know what they're doing, and I just shake my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, well, your attorney should have told you that. So
I know.
in any event, okay. So question, Ian. I don't know about you, but I've been getting these text messages lately.
Okay.
That say that they're from the DMV and
Lord.
that I have outstanding tolls or I haven't renewed my registration. This is a final notice. It's very serious. It's a long text. Have you gotten any of those?
Yeah, I'm also supposed to inherit something from the Prince of Nigeria, I think. Yeah.
I'm still waiting on mine.
Yeah, I know, right? I sent them my bank account. I don't know why it's empty now.
Yeah.
No, those are scams. Absolute scams.
It'll come back to you, man. You just have to believe.
Yeah, something like that.
Hey, listen.
Don't believe it. Don't believe it.
Yeah.
The DMV is not going to text you about unpaid tolls.
I mean, they're texting me from Romania, so I'm sure that's legit, right?
Yeah. Outsourcing.
If you see a different country code, probably not the DMV in Florida texting you. Be very wary. I don't know if the DMV would be texting you anyway. But
yeah, they don't have the time to text you.
Right. They don't have the time to take our phone calls. So
No.
they better not be
don't.
texting you. So yeah, if you guys get those texts from the DMV, be very wary. Don't give out any information. Don't respond. Hit junk. Especially, like I said, there's a lot of red flags there. Look into it. If it's coming from Russia or some other country, probably not legit. Just had to touch on that. All right, so let's talk about some common mistakes that people make. I think we already talked about some of these. Paying a fine, thinking it's automatically going to reinstate their license. Not always the case.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you're within the recapture period. So even if you're past the 30 days, we can still probably fight the ticket and you don't have to worry about getting points and getting a license suspension. We'll tell you when you're eligible to reinstate. You reinstate, you're driving legally, and we can fight the case in court. And then, you want to keep your address up to date, right?
Yep.
That's really important. Because that's where the DMV is going to send notice to, their last known address.
And that's where we're going to send stuff too.
Yeah.
So we want to keep it up to date no matter what.
If you move, let us know. Yeah, is what we're trying to tell you. Yeah. So what about, sometimes we have a lot of people that just want to be an ostrich and put their head in the sand, and they know they have some old tickets they should probably take care of, but everything's going to be fine, right, Ian?
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Take care of it. It's going to come back to haunt you.
Yeah. No time like the present.
No, and especially because an officer can just run your license plate, and it will tell them that you are suspended.
How does that work for people that may not know?
So when your vehicle registration in Florida is linked up to your driver's license, and if both, you and your spouse or you and someone else own it, it's linked up to both of your licenses. And if your registration comes back as suspended, that is all an officer needs to stop you.
So they don't need any other reasonable suspicion, probable cause. They don't have to see you speeding, running a red light.
Nope.
Nothing like that.
That's it.
So just if they run your tag and you come back suspended, or the registered owner comes back suspended, doesn't even have to be you.
Correct.
They can stop you legally.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's all they need.
That's it.
And as cops, they do that. They will sit at a red light and just run tags. We used to call it red light bingo.
Yeah.
Where you would just run the tags, and once in a while, bingo, you get someone that comes back. Now you stop them, and sometimes it's not the registered owner.
Yep.
Have a nice day. Most of the time it is the registered owner.
Yeah. And there are some cities that have automated plate readers positioned throughout the city.
Sure.
And that will give alerts.
Yeah.
When
Or
people drive
even,
by.
I think Winter Park, I don't know if they still have them, but have them on the officers' cars. So as they're driving around.
I have one of those.
Yeah. You had one of those as well? So
yeah.
It's a real thing, guys.
Yeah. You'd be driving around and it would just pop up on the computer, say alert, and it'll tell you what was going on.
Sure.
A picture of the plate.
Yeah.
You confirm it. And
yeah. Looks for suspended license, looks for
stolen
vehicles. Yeah. Absolutely. And another PSA, I told you I'd come back to it. Check your license. Get online, Google Florida DL check.
Yeah.
Please, please, please. You might be surprised, and this could honestly save you if you take nothing else away from this video. It costs you nothing. It takes 30 seconds. I highly, highly suggest it so you don't find yourself in the situation, and you might not even need us. And good, save yourself some money and some grief. And I just wish everyone knew to check their license. So, prevention tips. Let's go over that. Okay, so in Florida, you get a ticket. Do you have an infinite amount of time to handle that ticket?
No, you're supposed to handle it within 30 days.
30 days, guys.
Yeah.
So that means make an election. You can pay the ticket. You can do the clerk's option, elect school to avoid the points, or you can challenge the ticket with or without an attorney. Okay. But you want to do something, because what happens if you don't do anything within 30 days?
You're going to get your license suspended.
Suspended.
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about it. That's the topic.
And then you come knocking on our door. And with everything, it's better to prevent, to not be in that position in the first place.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You see people that come in that we have a lot of work to do. It's not impossible. I know other people say it's impossible. We can do it, but it's a lot cheaper if you just do it in the beginning.
Yeah.
We're talking the difference between hundreds or thousands of dollars. Just please do it in the beginning. Yeah. Do not be an ostrich. Don't put your head in the sand. Like, everyone's going to be happier if we just resolve it in the beginning.
The state of Florida will not forget.
They don't forget. They don't forgive. And, handling a ticket properly is a lot better than trying to handle a prosecutor in court.
Yeah.
So, with that, I know we always like to take comments.
Okay.
So we got some more comments from TikTok, and we want to read some of these. I'll read them the best I can, and you let me know.
Am I going to be asked about olives again?
No, I know last time we got into it about olives on pizza, but that's, okay. We'll talk about that off camera, but
all right.
I wholeheartedly, anyway, TikTok video comment from the video that we did about plea deals. And this is a comment from Joey Dilo 30. And he asks, if I'm being offered a plea deal, I would have had a lawyer already. I think maybe what he's asking is if he's already getting a plea deal, he already has a lawyer. That's not always the case, right?
Yeah.
So like you technically you don't need a lawyer.
Correct.
Highly suggest you have a lawyer, but if you don't have one, the state can still offer you a plea deal, right?
They can. The state generally would rather offer a plea than go to trial, because it's faster and it's more efficient for them.
Yeah.
It's cheaper for the state. That said, if you don't have a lawyer, the prosecutor is going to know that, and you're not going to know if the offer is a good offer or not. And again, you should always have an attorney. The courtroom is a confusing place.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yes, and so we see it too. We're in court, and I don't know how many times you've seen. I've seen many times where I'm in court and someone goes in without an attorney, and the state makes a plea deal, and I'm there biting a hole through my lip, being like, "Oh, don't take that deal." It's like a deal or no deal. It's like, no deal, Howie.
The other thing to think about is the deal might seem good in the short term.
Yes.
Like, oh, cool, I'm avoiding jail time, right? Lower fines, that's awesome.
Sure.
But then you're going to have something on your record which could enhance a future violation if it happens.
100%.
Yeah.
And on today's topic for driving suspended license, you go in, it sounds like a sweetheart deal. You're in there. The state makes you a plea offer, an offer you can't refuse. It's a withholding court costs. No jail, no probation, no fines, no community service, no classes. You can leave today. Here's your paperwork. We'll never see you again. No more court dates. That sounds like a really, really good deal. The problem is, if you have the requisite priors, which is only 2 other civil tickets for the same thing to Willis, you're now going to be a 5-year HTO, habitual traffic offender. You're going to get a letter in 2 weeks in the DMV saying we're taking your license for 5 years. There's a 1-year waiting period before you can even apply for a hardship, if you're lucky enough to even get one. And then 4 more years of driving on a hardship.
Yeah.
And they thought they were getting a sweetheart deal. So for Joey Dilo 30, not necessarily. Sometimes you can go in without an attorney. You'll get a plea deal, but it may not be as sweet as it sounds. All right, moving on. Next comment on TikTok. This is from Anna Stack. Everything I see one of your videos, every time I see one of your videos, I get such an expression of gratitude. I thank you for helping me at a time when I needed legal help. You did a wonderful job, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Oh, very kind words.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. I was expecting a question. This is very heartfelt, and
I'll take it.
I'll take it. Yeah. It's always nice to hear from people that we've helped in the past, and that makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, with as much pushback as we get from prosecutors and judges, and it's nice to get those thank yous.
Actually,
it really is.
Gratitude. I'm grateful for our clients, and it's always nice for them to reciprocate, and that means a lot. So thank you. Yeah. All right. Anything else we have to talk about for DeWillis?
Oh, I can't think about it.
I can't think.
Take care of your license and Yes.
If you guys do have any questions about driving on suspended license, revoke, cancel, what have you, there's a lot more to know. You can comment. We'll try and get back to you. If it's something good, we can talk about it on the next podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on all our socials, Gans_law, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you next time.